Welcome to Trippy Commentaries and another episode of our WWE Raw Reactions. Raw came from Brooklyn, New York, and I think we kind of knew that because it was being held in the Big Apple, probably the most popular city in the entire world, something was probably going to go down. And Retro Brett, we got a very special guest. We can't wait to talk about that.
Oh yes, I was really excited actually. I was like, what?
I figured.
I could not believe my ears. It was really exciting. But like RJ said, we'll get to that. Let's start it off there, RJ.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, that's Retro Brett. I'm RJ. If you watched the last episode of Raw, you'll probably remember that infamous part where Seth Rollins finally got his suitcase back, his Money in the Bank suitcase, which gives him a contract to face off with the WWE champ whenever he wants.
For a year.
He still has yet to actually do that. But he has that suitcase, of course. It's starting to get dinged up. When he finally got it back last week, he was shot with a rocket of green slime. And this week, he kind of had to come out, try to help make a name for himself, as he was embarrassed a little bit. And I figured him kicking off the night, it was really just to kind of tell everybody that, you know, he is somebody, and that everybody in the WWE apparently wants a piece of him. Not sure how true that is.
Pretty much
and,
exactly what he said.
He also was kind of showing that he knows what to do. At least
know how to be a performer.
Know how to make a name for himself. You know, you might question that, considering he does have that contract to win the WWE Championship, and he's yet to do that. But he has certainly tried, that's for sure. I know we also saw, you know, the Authority come out at some point here to announce the main event match of the night. Retro Brett kicked off with Seth Rollins here. I know you're a fan. What'd you think about the beginning of tonight's Raw, coming from a very big city?
Well, obviously it was the biggest, probably the biggest sports city in America.
Definitely.
Also, it was a little lame, I thought. I think you thought that as well, RJ.
It wasn't a big kickoff. I actually ran late today and didn't get to see Raw right from the beginning, which it's always exciting seeing it right from the kickoff. So I kind of had to watch it in pieces. And I almost didn't even realize that was the beginning of the night.
Yeah, I know, you told me that. It was pretty bland, but
normal stuff.
Like we said, Seth Rollins came out and said pretty much exactly what RJ said. He said was, you know, everyone wants a piece of me. I know I have a huge target on my back.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that. That's exactly what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna get it. But what RJ said about him being Mr. Money in the Bank, you got to remember, the Authority pretty much gave him the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, very good point. Although that was an impressive match.
Oh yes,
man, the ladders were going crazy.
Anytime there's a ladder match, it's always pretty insane.
Especially with a lot of the acrobatic fighters that were in that match. So basically, of course, you had, like I said, Seth Rollins saying that he knows what to do here. He's got everything under control. Even though I'm sure the Authority was probably getting a little bit worried, as we expected. John Cena came out, tried to fight him. Seth Rollins ran away like a bitch.
Like he always does.
Into the stands, or into the crowd there. Started, laughing and saying, "Come on, John, where are you at?"
All cocky and confident like that. And lo and behold, who was standing behind him?
Yeah, it was kind of funny how you kind of barely make it out, because it's a sea of people here, and everybody kind of blends in together, but then you kind of make out Dean Ambrose, who slowly comes behind him, and really doesn't even do anything right off the bat. He's just kind of chilling, and then attacks Seth Rollins. Rollins has to flee back towards the ring where Cena's waiting, and they kind of gang up on him. Now, what happened here, Retro Brett, really alluded to what we saw a lot of the rest of the night, where you had Dean Ambrose kind of jump up to take out Seth Rollins, ends up hitting John Cena as well. I thought it was kind of an accident at that point.
Well, I don't know if it was an accident or not, but I don't think Dean Ambrose really cares too much about who is in his way.
He's a lunatic.
He'll go after who's ever in his way to to who he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you this, RJ. If you were Seth Rollins, who would you rather get your ass beat by? Dean Ambrose or John Cena?
A good question. I mean, John Cena's a big mofo, so I think John Cena's certainly proven a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Dean Ambrose hasn't really proven too much,
Yeah,
although
but he's crazy.
And he was a big part of the
He's crazy.
Shield, which I feel like the Shield's got to be one of the most memorable teams in a long time. I mean, they almost reminded me of DX a little bit. Obviously, it's hard to compare to the Attitude Era, but the Shield was massive. Everybody loved them. That's in the past now. Yeah, that's in the past. Now we have Dean Ambrose facing off with your boy Seth Rollins here.
Wow, that's a very unflattering picture of Seth Rollins there. It kind of looks like he blew the Green Goblin there.
Oh man. Wow, yeah. So he didn't do too much to actually get back in the audience's good graces this week, as he ended up getting his ass kicked by both Dean Ambrose and John Cena. But this is where the Authority came out. Of course, broke everything up. Triple H and Stephanie announced a main event match, which was pretty much the same match as last week. I think it might have had one guy thrown in to make it different.
I think it did. I don't really remember last week's main event.
Just a handicap match, basically.
Anyone who RJ definitely knows this. My memory is notoriously poor, so forgive me for that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in wrestling, so it's actually pretty hard to remember sometimes all the stuff that goes down, especially in these cases where the main event is really not a real... I mean, it's a match, but it's almost like a symbolic match just to get somebody in a bad position.
Or a preview to a pay-per-view, or alluding to something else.
Which, before we get to the main event, because this really was nothing special other than just kind of turning into a crazy Dean Ambrose act. But I really feel like that's a kind of a soft spot for Raw right now. I want to see bigger, more grandiose main events. I like the funny things that are happening, but I'm talking about a main event that deserves the word main event, not an obvious handicap match where, it's going to break down pretty obviously.
The problem for the last several years at least was the main event's really not a wrestling match. It starts out a wrestling match, but someone always interferes or always ends in a DQ or something crazy like that happens.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more legit main events going forward. Hopefully the WWE hears us out. We are the WWE Universe, as well as you guys are as well. So make sure to drop your comment and let us know what you think about what's going on with the WWE. If there's any changes, definitely drop it in the comment. Have your voice be heard, that's for sure. But this episode, other than the complaint we had about the main event and the kickoff, had a lot of really crazy shit go down.
Yes, it did, and we'll get to that.
First, we have to talk about this Golden Stardust matchup. They teamed up with Cesaro, and that's a team up of heels there, going against a great trio here. Retro Brett, the Usos, teaming up with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
this is a very similar trio here. These guys have a similar move set and skill set. I thought it was the best real match of the night, and I was happy to see Ziggler and the Usos come out on top.
Very popular. Three very, very popular individuals here. Right before this match, they showed like a videotape earlier in the day of the Usos making fun of Golden Stardust.
Yeah.
It was pretty accurate. Actually, it's not very hard to make fun of those two.
No.
But actually, preceding this match, it was the first of a couple Big Show backstage segments. They're calling it an international incident.
Yeah. What did you think about all that?
Well, if people remember last week, Big Show pulled down the Russian flag. Actually, I believe it's Bulgarian flag, but whatever. I do understand. I'm like, that's not cool to pull down someone else's flag. But then again, Rusev and Lana has downgraded America so much. It's like, so they can downgrade us, but we can't do anything against them. Big Show had to apologize. What the hell is that? It's like a double standard. I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, it didn't make sense, of course. I mean, that's their whole shtick, is just coming out and just making fun of America, including our great American president, Obama.
But, I mean, it's not right to or degrade someone's flag.
Sure, yeah. But in wrestling, it tends to happen quite a bit. Retro Brett, we had Kathy Lee and Hoda come out. I don't even know who they are. I've never heard of them before. To make matters worse, they came out with Adam Rose and the Rosebuds. This was a pretty terrible segment here. I mean, it was one of those cringe-worthy segments.
Well, apparently the live audience thought so as well, because you could definitely hear the boos. Wall. Oh my gosh, I can't even. I cringe when I say her name, Hoda.
Hoda? The
What
hell
heck
is that?
And
Why did she try to dance? Who cares?
And then Kathy Lee, which looks like she's had a few facelifts. But yeah, they were booing, and
They smashed glasses on each other's asses for no reason.
that kind of fit in a little bit, kind of exciting, but the whole segment was really, really stupid, and especially, I mean, it would have been a lot better if they would have come out with anyone other than Adam Rose.
It's a good point. I mean, perhaps if they came out with someone that the audience actually likes, maybe that gets them more buzz. I mean, they went straight to the
I think
just
they had
talking about
buzz by
Brooklyn.
drinking that wine there.
Hey, not good job there, WWE. Not exactly sure what you were thinking there. Let's go ahead and continue on. Mark Henry, Retro Bread. It wasn't too long ago. We thought he might be able to take out Rusev. He might be the one to stop that undefeated streak. And who knows what else? Maybe become the WWE champion again, taking on Brock Lesnar. Instead, he's went on a downward spiral, much like the water in a toilet bowl, as he loses once again to Bo Dallas. It was a countout loss, so Bo Dallas kind of had to get out of the world's strongest slam there.
Onto the announce table.
Barely escaped and got back into the ring to claim the victory. Do you take anything out of this? What are you looking at with your boy Mark Henry?
He's in his own. He can't get out of his own way. It's in his head now that he got messed up, that he couldn't beat Rusev, and
Definitely.
it's nothing to do with him physically. It's all mental problem with him. But I want to say, before this match, we had a promo of Bray Wyatt promoing Luke Harper in a video segment.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But we haven't actually seen them live, any of the three of them, for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, not seeing too much of Bray Wyatt. It seems like he's kind of hyping up Luke Harper, as well as the other follower there as well. I mean, Eric Rowan, he's massive. I think both these guys will be pretty good in singles, but it's definitely interesting to think of what they have in the works there, what they're concocting there. I'm assuming they're just turning them all into singles fighters, but that Wyatt family, that was a crazy gimmick that they had going on, and it's weird to see them kind of going away from it, at least so it seems. We'll see what happens. I think they're probably going to slow down on the Wyatts until after Hell in a Cell, and then we'll probably get the return. I'm extremely excited. I know we'll be covering the WWE 2K video game that's coming out on the next-gen consoles. And we know that Bray Wyatt will be in that, and I'm definitely excited to see the intros on the Xbox One and the next-gen graphics. That's going to be crazy.
Oh, yes.
John Cena and Dean Ambrose made their return. They were both back in the ring, and we had a little friction here. I wasn't sure what to make out of this, because at first it's almost like, all right, I mean, they're a team. You got to have this friction with a good team. It's like the Ninja Turtles. You have to have Raphael, the one who's kind of a rebel. And I figured that's what they were doing here, but perhaps they're not going to team up at all. Maybe this is an actual feud in some way. I know it's two good guys, so it's hard to do that in wrestling, so I doubt it highly. And basically what happened here was Dean Ambrose ended up abandoning John Cena, who he's scheduled to fight with in a handicap match later on. He actually took the train and headed to Coney Island.
Yes. Well, first of all, I thought it was Michelangelo that was the rebel, but I digress. Let's go back.
Michelangelo was the jokester. Cowabunga dude?
Yeah.
That's Michelangelo.
The guy with the orange and the nunchucks. Okay.
Raphael's the one in the movie that screamed, "Damn!"
All right. Well, yeah, that was any segment with Dean Ambrose is always entertaining because he's such a lunatic and an interesting guy. But
Yes.
I think yes, this is. They couldn't pick a worse time to have a feud because they're both going after the same guy. What the hell is wrong with them?
Yeah,
The enemy of my
definitely.
enemy is my friend.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hey,
Whatever.
this guy Dean Ambrose is a lunatic fringe retro Brett.
Well, in any case, this being the case, a good guy versus good guy, I think um, in this case, John Cena is going to be the more bad guy because Dean Ambrose is so over with the crowd. Like, he's such a good guy and so over with the crowd that I think. And people are split on Cena anyways. I mean, everyone hears the chants, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." So I think John Cena is going to be the bad guy in this situation.
Yeah, in these situations where Dean Ambrose is kind of getting a little bit of a leg up on John Cena, is definitely helping out his reputation because, like you said, not everybody likes Cena. In fact, the opposite. There's a lot of people that hate Cena. So
I can't understand
they can
that.
kind of pull this 50-50 gimmick here where, he's kind of teaming up with Cena. At the same time, he's also kind of rebelling against Cena. So we'll have more to talk about as they got back together, or at least Cena had to come back out for the main event. And spoiler warning, even though Dean Ambrose left to go get a hot dog, he would come back with the hot dog and the whole stand.
A lot more than that, though.
Yeah. All right. We had the Roman Reigns interview. Not much to say here, Retro Brett. Good to hear from him. Get well soon, Roman Reigns. He's my favorite wrestler. And certainly doesn't help that he's not out there right now. And
Wow.
hopefully we
That was
get
a
him back
very
as soon
short
as
interview,
possible.
But before that, we had Tyson Kidd versus Jack Swagger. Not much to say other than they're continuing this stupid Tyson Kidd having marital problems with Natalia.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
Absolutely. All right, Rusev came out, and to the surprise of everyone here, Trippy Commentaries, The Rock's theme hit, and The Rock came out. He
Wow.
was there in Brooklyn.
I was getting goosebumps. I don't know about y'all.
Now, Lana has been one of the most impressive superstars. She's not really a wrestler at this time.
Right now.
But she's been one of the most popular and best superstars on the mic.
She's freaking hot. And
She's
good
sexy
on
as
the
hell.
mic.
So it was great to see this battle between her and The Rock. This was classic Rocky. The Rock, if I had a top 10 or whatever you want to call it, of the best superstars ever on the mic, The Rock is numero uno. So this was great to see Lana, who, she can kind
She's
of...
great on the mic as well.
Yeah, she can go against him, and that's what happened tonight. Back and forth matchup here on the of words. Rusev, of course, got all the the cliche Rock beatdown attempts here. It doesn't matter, all that stuff.
Matter.
And The Rock was great. He was hilarious. Did you like this segment?
Oh, I love the segment. I was expecting Big Show, but I was like, wait, that's not Big Show's music. Sweet. I had no idea The Rock was coming out, and that's how we like it here. We like to be surprised.
Oh yeah.
We don't like to read too much about what's happening in the futures, so we like to be surprised just as we were.
WWE is predictable enough as it is, but tonight was not the case for us.
No, but it was good to see two of the best mic people on the mic there that there ever were.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to be doing a best top 10 or whatever of top 10 wrestlers, top 10 people on the mic.
Just on the mic. Oof, man. Definitely got to bring up Ric Flair in that one, I think. Woo! That's for sure. Awesome to see The Rock, one of our favorites of all time. He's a legend, and just can't say enough about him. Thought this was another great spiel by The Rock. Truly impressive. And he kind of got the upper hand on Rusev. They didn't fight. Rusev's still undefeated, so we'll see what happens and where Rusev goes from here. Let's go ahead and just bring up Sheamus versus The Miz here. The Miz won. It seemed like the crowd was kind of backing Damien Sandow more than The Miz. They were chanting, "Sandow's better," which is pretty funny.
He probably is.
Yeah, he probably is. And to finish off the night, we had that handicap match. As you guys can imagine, it ended up in DQ to the surprise of nobody. John Cena ended up getting beat up here. by the Authority, Randy Orton, Kane, and Seth Rollins. 3-on-1, he had no shot. Eventually, Dean Ambrose made his return, came out with a Coney Island hot dog stand. Of course, Randy Orton, Kane came out, tried to take him on, and he appeared to have holsters on his belt with a ketchup and mustard in each side, squirted the two Authority thugs with the condiments there. Kind of funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So Dean Ambrose kind of saved John Cena until the final thing that we saw, Retro Brett, was Dean Ambrose hitting John Cena with a DDT. That's huge. That's the DDT heard around the world because, once again, what do we make of this? Are they friends? Are they enemies? At least for the end of tonight, I think they're enemies.
Well, that's because he did that right after Triple H postulated that they would face each other at Hell in a Cell.
Oh boy.
And whoever wins that match gets their hands on Seth Rollins. But I also want to point out the Derek Jeter chants that were happening throughout the night. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely props to Derek Jeter. It was kind of good timing for the WWE to be in Brooklyn. We're here in Tampa Bay, so to be honest with you, I'm glad we don't have to face off with him anymore. Hopefully the Yankees have some issues there at shortstop. Derek Jeter actually lives in our hometown here in Tampa.
So built a huge-ass house over in Davis Island.
Oh, yeah. He's got a massive house. You can see it from the middle of the bay. So, yeah, props to Derek Jeter. Great career, and it was nice to see him getting respect here on Raw. For those of you who like baseball and Derek Jeter, I'm sure you were happy to see that. But, once again, we end off with Dean Ambrose DDTing John Cena. As you mentioned, Retro Brett, it appears as if they're going to face off with one another. That is going to be huge. And if Dean Ambrose takes out John Cena, all of a sudden he has a lot of momentum, and I think he could take out Seth Rollins right after. Bam, bam, 1-2 in a row.
Well, I think he has more of a beef with Seth Rollins than John Cena does.
Good point. I mean, Cena, he lost his opportunity. He wasn't going to beat Brock Lesnar anyways, but
I don't think anyone believes that except Cena. No. But I think it's going to be a good match at Hell in a Cell.
Absolutely. It's going to be an amazing match. Thank you guys for joining us here at Trippy Commentaries. We'll, of course, preview the big Hell in a Cell event coming. Make sure to watch out for that. We got you every Tuesday for our WWE Raw reactions.